All right. Well, I am so excited to be having this conversation. We've been talking about this for several weeks and it's here. So I'm here with my amazing friend, someone I really look up to, Stephanie Swail. She's the founder of Soul Study, a community for women. I'm actually a part of this community, but it's for women who are committed to the growth journey, who really want to evolve on a mind, body, and soul level. So she's also a business coach that helps those individuals who are building and scaling a soul-led business. And we will get into that right now, what that means. But thank you for coming. Welcome.
Thank you, Olivia. Honored to be here and have this conversation with
Absolutely. So tell us, like, this is something that fascinates me, as a spiritual capitalist business owner like yourself, like, what is a soul-led business? What does that mean to you?
So a soul-led business to me is something with purpose and intention behind it. And a soul-led business to me is like something that is literally created from your soul. You'll hear the word like it's a calling that I have. It's a gift that I have that I want to offer the world. And for my experience of a soul-led business, it's this calling within me originally came in the form of a life and relationship coach. And I had always had this calling to be wanting to help people and really create an impact. And so for me, when I work with soul-led business owners, it's individuals who feel as if it's their calling. They're here to do it. It's led by their soul. It's a vision that they carry. It's something so precious to them. And I really believe that soul-led business owners are individuals who want to have a huge impact on this planet, right?
hmm Yeah, absolutely. This really resonates with me because, like, to me, a soul-led business isn't just an identity.
Hmm.
It's also it's a way of moving. It's being in alignment with a purpose that's greater than yourself. It's being focused on the impact that your business has on this world. And, as like we talk about these esoteric terms like soul-led business, I know there's people out there watching like, okay, Olivia, okay, Stephanie, this sounds cool, but if I'm going to do a soul-led business, does that mean I'm not going to make any money?
No. I mean, do you want to make money? And so I love talking about this because I always say this, like, you can treat your soul-led purpose as a hobby, which what is the difference between a hobby and a business? We don't make money in our hobby. So, if we want to create sustainable impact and change, then we ourselves have to be creating a business that itself is sustainable. And I really think that when we get into like more of the spiritual realm or people who are working with their calling and their gifts, I really believe that people have a hard time charging for that because we believe that, well, if I'm doing good for humanity, shouldn't it be free? But does free pay your bills? Does free really financially support you and what you need to thrive? Because my experience is when we undercharge or we don't treat our business and what we're here to do seriously, we actually end up burning out, right?
Absolutely.
And I know that from experience. I used to charge like $75 or $100 for a session, and was seeing 20 to 30 clients a week. What do you think happened to me? I completely burnt out. Not only was I not really making money or saving or barely making ends meet, but I was completely burnt out. When I am burnt out, I am not going to have the impact that I'm actually here to create. And neither are my clients going to have that impact and that transformation. So I really believe that we're able to merge the two because it all comes down to what you believe to be true. If you want to believe it to be true that like I can have a business that is really led by my soul's calling and the gifts that I'm here to offer and also receive abundantly, it will be true because you will create that within your reality, right?
Absolutely. We all here watching this in the Cove community, where anybody that's in my world knows that our thoughts, our beliefs do create our reality and we must take action, right?
Yeah,
So, but I wanted to say something that you really hit on that sparked this thought because we're talking about wealth consciousness right now.
Mhm.
And this is exactly why I'm so passionate about the Cove because there's so much misconception about the idea of how to actually get and create wealth while being aligned spiritually because there's so much guilt in the spiritual community, in the religious community, in all these communities around focusing on profitability, focusing on the value exchange of money.
Mhm.
And so, how did you get to balance that with the push pull from focusing on the money versus the impact? And how do you get them to work together so you can create wealth from your perspective?
I think I had to look at a couple of things. So I'm speaking from a personal experience here. Like I had to really shift my beliefs about money and what I believed to be true about wealth, abundance, and all those things. And originally I was in the camp that was like, well, I want to impact people and I want to help as many people as I can. So therefore, I'm going to charge this amount so I can help as many people as I can. And I will be in service because a lot of people can afford this. But that led to me like diluting the potency of my work. And it wasn't until I started investing in business coaches because it got to a point where I had to seriously think, do I want to do this as a hobby? Or do I actually want to be in my purpose, my God given gifts, and create something that, yes, it's sustainable, but it's also thriving and abundant? I do want that. And I had to look at like, what is the gap? And the gap for me was a lot around my mindset, a lot around my identity. Because a lot of people that were in my world at the time, I didn't have those examples to look at. I didn't have people in my family that I would say that like had a soul-led business. So I had to become the evidence myself and believe it to be true. And I also had to find what I call possibility mentors or possibility markers. So to find people that are doing the thing that you want to do because they're also telling you it's possible. And when I started working with other business coaches, they were a lot of what they focused on was like your mindset around wealth and abundance. And I really believe that we're in a place where God gave us all the abundance in the world. So why wouldn't He want you to experience abundance while you're helping individuals? You're helping a collective group of people. You're helping a community. You're creating a movement that is literally felt by your impact. And so I had to work through my own beliefs around money and charging and realize that like we cannot be in this business of helping people and then not charging for it,
Yes.
right?
I love this because this is such a touchy topic right now that I want to go down because I can relate to your story with the idea of our environment being the source of our beliefs and our potential and what's possible. So, really being able to expand what's possible. The reason so many people watching this are like, yeah, that's nice for you guys, but I'm here right now, right? Like, this is my reality. I need to make money. I need to be practical. I need to get clients. I need to get customers. So, as you start to really shift that mindset to the service mindset and think from that space, you have to be in an abundance mindset,
Mm.
right? And so, everyone talks about that, but like, how did you get out of that place where you're undercharging, you're feeling like you're not owning your value? What like, and I know for me, every time I used to raise my rates, I'd have like a panic attack. And the first thought I had was, are they still going to buy?
Yeah, of
And it would
course.
keep running through. So guys, this stuff is not easy. It's a journey, it's a process, it's an evolution. And I'd love to hear your take on that.
hmm I think that's a common thing that we can struggle with of like, well, if I increase my prices, what's going to happen? But in all honesty, what I started to focus on was, if we're in the place of having a soul led business here, what I work on is like, I'm here to transform people, people's lives, people's businesses, right? So if we think of like, what is it that you're an expert at? And maybe you're an expert because you've been through it yourself. You have personal experience. Maybe you have professional experience. Maybe you're also certified or qualified in whatever. But I really think that, life is our greatest teacher, right? And so if you can think of how can I help people? What is the level of transformation that I can give people? Because I think what actually happened to me when I increased my prices and I said, you know what, like I am going to increase my prices. I'm going to limit the amount of clients that I take. Why? Because I want to make sure that the people that I work with are 100% committed, are 100% devoted, that are action takers, because you know what ends up happening? They end up seeing results because they have more skin in the game. They're invested. So when I raised my rates, I would say I had quite a bit of people who are like, yeah, I still want to do it. And they were still committed. Did I have some people who are like, yeah, I'm not ready for that? Yes, and that's okay. What ended up happening is I actually attracted in a different caliber of clients who are like, I am so ready to invest because I see this as an investment in myself and my growth and my business. And they started to see results, of course,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I always say, come back to what is it that you can help people achieve? What is a transformation that you can help them with? What is the journey that you're going to take them on? Who are they coming in as in your world, whatever it is that you do? And how are they leaving? And that transformation alone, what do you think that is worth? Knowing that you've had all these life experiences to teach you, knowing that you're the embodiment of this work, that is worth something. And so it's an amazing thing to be able to say, I've transformed this person's life. I've helped them create this business where, they're positively impacting people. They have a thriving business. They have more time and freedom with family, with loved ones, etc. And like that's an amazing transformation. And so I think that sometimes we can struggle with pricing ourselves. And one thing that I've learned is your price point also attracts the individual that you call in. And the interesting thing enough is that when I was charging, let's say a couple $100 for a session, usually I would give them some things to do afterwards. Like, okay, so, here's kind of some takeaways, some action to be taking between now and our next session.
Mm-hmm.
Most of those people, what do you think? Did not take that action.
Nope. Not committed.
Not committed. But then you charge a higher ticket price and you're calling in a person that's like, I'm ready for that. It's like there's this thing that says, even before they make the payment, the transformation is already happening because that is them claiming this is what I'm committed to. And I know when I paid $50 for a course versus $3,000 or $5,000, oh my gosh, when I paid $5,000, was that scary? Yes. But I was like,
Yep.
the transformation happened.
And this is what I love about how you lead and how you think, because it's just the law of buy-in for me. And it comes down to people are buying in why you do something and who you are before they buy your product. And I think this is the whole point of, I believe soul-led business is the future regardless. We're just here with the trailblazer herself on the front line making it happen, right? But I really love that there's that idea of value and thinking about it from the value proposition, because that's how business and money is exchanged. And one thing I know just from my personal experience with value is the more that someone's paying, the higher the perceived value. It's kind of like you buy a Birkin bag and you're going to not put it on the ground. I want to be treated that way. But then on the flip side, let's be real. There's people charging 15 grand that aren't delivering. High ticket, high ticket, high ticket.
Totally.
Charge more, charge more. And so let's find that middle ground. I'd love to hear your take on that, because there's so many people out there right now that I'm seeing, and no shade to anybody, but we need to also deliver on that value and have that service on the back end and really provide that. So what's the stepping stone to doing that? What does that look like for you and your clients?
For me, when I choose to work with somebody, it's really important to me, and I say this word a lot, is integrity. And integrity means, for me and what I do, is like it's truly being in service.
Yeah.
It is putting the human above all else and not money in front of the human, right? And it's prioritizing the individual's well-being. And so, especially in regard to your question here, it's really important because we do see people in the industry who are like, oh, it's 20K. I've had clients who've had this experience where they put up a lot of money to work with somebody and they were not taken care of. The individual did not deliver. And we have those individuals in every job in the world, right? That's just comes down to the human themselves. So for me, what is really important here is that you ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing? And as you ask that why question, what are you making a priority? So when I connect to my why is to truly impact individuals and help them build and scale a soul-led business so they can create impact and have what I call impact income. And we're here to change the world, leave it a better place, and do that one human being at a time. So my why is really, really important, and that comes down to integrity, right?
Yeah.
And so to connect to what is my why, and within my why, what is the purpose, and what am I prioritizing in the why? Because my why is like, well, I want to be rich and I want to make a lot of money. So
Right.
what happens is that we make that the priority, and somebody on the receiving end of that maybe gets burned, right?
And I just want to hit on something you said that I want to make really clear to anybody watching. Yes, money matters.
Hmm.
Money is a measure of the impact that you're having and able to have. So I know that when you focus on impact, you make more money.
Yes.
I've experienced that. So I just wanted to nail that home because it's not either or.
No,
It's actually more sustainable to focus on the impact because on the back end, you actually do what you say you're going to do.
totally. 100%. Yeah. And if you think of some people, like one person that came to mind because I received an email from them today was Wim Hof, and yeah, Wim Hof has built an incredible business,
Yeah,
and what is he focused on? Impact,
absolutely.
right?
And that's what we're here focused on. We want to serve this community. And so as you think about really why you do what you do, and like we talk about why, and I'm guilty of this as a CEO and like juggling everything and you're scaling, you're building, you're doing a bunch of stuff. How do you know you're in the element of being a soul-led business owner versus out of it? Like, how do you catch yourself as a
Mhm.
business owner?
I catch myself when I feel like you ever feel like it's like nothing is going my way? Like you are so not in the flow
Yeah.
and there's so much resistance and heaviness. And this has happened to me before because I in the past had done some offers that I thought were really like, oh, this just feels good. But really, it was more driven from another place, right?
Okay.
It was more like, oh, other people are doing this thing, so I'm going to do it too because
Mhm.
it sounds like and it seems like a good idea. That never works, by the way,
N-
right?
Never.
And what ends up happening is that it becomes this, for me, it feels like heaviness, anxiety. I just feel like I'm not in the flow and I feel like I'm kind of off track,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And I think I say this all the time, but like when I'm out of alignment, I can't give it away.
Mm,
Like it's like the energy's off, right? And it's like when you get really connected to that purpose, it's like the focal point of the conversation's different, the tone's different, the passion. And I remember early on my journey, whether it was career or business, I would just mimic and model. And you lack the intention. You can't fake intention. You can't fake energy.
no, no,
That's manifestation, right?
totally it is. And yeah, because you're also not operating from that higher frequency, right? And usually, if in the times that I have been out of alignment, it's usually because I'm doing something that I think would make sense for other people and really didn't really check in with myself of like, is this something that I truly feel called to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because when we try to like fake it or do something without intention and why behind it, usually doesn't go very far.
No, it's like for me, soul led means, and I want to talk to you about this as well. It's like intuitive,
Yeah.
heart centered, and centered, not heart led, right? Because this is where I see a lot of people in the spiritual community really just getting their butt kicked when it comes to making money, AKA not profitable.
Mhm.
It's just they just lead with the heart and they feel the guilt around prioritizing profitability. And I'm sorry, but if you don't have profit, you're going out of business.
Yeah. And what does that mean when you go into business? You stop impacting the people that you're here to impact.
Yep, exactly. So, how do you balance profitability? I know there's this feminine energy of serving and flow, and let's put everyone first, love and light, right? And when do I make money? How does this all work together?
Right. I mean, you need both. And so that's kind of the art. And what I really help clients with is um, I like to give this example. So I want you to imagine a river, right? And let's think of the river, the water, which is the feminine energy, which is like there's power, there's flow, there's consistency. If there is no river bank, there's a flood and the water goes everywhere,
Mm.
right? So the riverbank is a masculine energy that supports the feminine in moving to make sure that that river goes in this direction to go here to affect the ecosystem. And so it's the same in business. I really believe when it comes to soul-led business, a lot of it is working with our creative energies, our
Mhm.
purpose, our gifts, and how are you going to make this into an offer? And you need both things. You need the divine masculine in business, and you need the divine feminine. And so the divine feminine would look something like, okay, so what is the transformation that I want people to have? How do I want them to feel walking away from whatever offer it is that you have? What are the things that I want them to experience? How do I see myself offering this? And how do I want to express it in my content, for example? And the divine masculine part of business is, okay, what is my launch strategy? What is the plan? Um, what's the price point? What is going to be the way in which I deliver this? Because you need both of those things. And the divine masculine helps us take action.
Mhm.
And I can see, and I've worked with a couple of individuals who were like definitely more in that like spiritual realm, which is great, but you need to be very, very grounded and rooted in the skill set, in the tools, in the strategy, because that is honestly what is going to help you propel your business forward. And the engine, the motor, I really believe is that feminine energy. And like the captain of the ship, the one who's steering the direction, right? Is like the one that's like, okay, we're going this direction. We're not just like lost at sea here.
Yeah.
But I think that you have to have both of those things, right?
I could not agree more. And I think you really resonated with me because I'm a creative. I have so many ideas, I have visions, I get a lot of energy. And being a creative that also drives results
Mhm.
is an evolved identity of structure and discipline, routines, calendars, and really putting all that energy into a container that can truly be channeled in a way where it's going to make an impact, right?
Yeah,
And it's not easy to get there. You do need guidance, you need systems, you need someone to guide you like her. Don't try to do it alone because as a creative, that's not your natural state. You really need to build that out and get yourself on that right track, like within the rails, right?
oh, totally. And you also fast track, and I think I started out initially like being the person's like, I can do it myself. I don't need anybody. I can figure it out. Like I'll just watch YouTube tutorials and all that kind of stuff. And I'm definitely somebody that learns a lot by trial and error. And I will also acknowledge here, I think that had I worked with a business mentor sooner, I would have seen faster
Oh, yeah.
results because I had the ideas, I had the offer, I knew how I could help people. But like having a business plan and a strategy, like that would have helped a lot. And I really think that like it's not an easy journey. And I always say this, I really believe that when we create a business, when we're building our business, I think that it can be sometimes more triggering than a relationship. Like our business can be a mirror,
It is.
right?
Absolutely. I mean, because there's nowhere to hide.
Mm-mm.
There's nowhere to hide. And so let's talk about that. I believe business is a vehicle towards accelerated evolution and transformation
Mm,
because you have no
that's
choice,
beautiful. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so we were talking earlier about manifestation, and everyone wants to manifest scaling their business. And I really feel we need to go deeper on that concept of manifesting when it comes to scaling, building a business. What does that look like for you, manifesting? Because you believe in manifestation,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like in the context of scaling your soul-led business?
To me, manifestation, my approach of it is like believing whatever I want to be true, it will be true and I will make that true. So if I want to build a multi seven figure, 8-figure business, like that is amazing. And if you use manifestation, I think wisely, properly, depending on your interpretation of it, it's like having that belief in yourself without even seeing evidence or proof that it exists.
Yep.
And that is what people are like, well, I need to have evidence that it exists first for me. Otherwise, I'm not going to do anything about it. Manifestation to me is like pure conviction in whatever I want, I can have it and I can create it. And also, I don't play into this category of just like, okay, I'm just going to visualize me having this business and just like hope one day that it just happens. Like you have to couple manifestation with aligned, bold action, right? Like taking action in the direction that you want your life to go in.
Mhm.
So manifestation to me is the belief that it exists, even if I don't have evidence or proof of it right here, right now.
The belief is what gives you the conviction to take the massive action.
Yes.
And the belief is the framework that allows you to trust yourself to make the decision. And the belief is what allows you to create the vision that's pulling you forward. I mean, as visionary women, you have to have a vision that moves you emotionally,
Yeah, you
or
do.
you're not going to move past the fear.
No,
There's no way.
no, because you want to take like inspired action. How do you take inspired action if you're not inspired? Right?
I think you just nailed it. Inspired action. How do you take inspired action if you're not inspired?
Yeah, quote me on that. Um, but it's true. So feel into your vision. What do you want? And here's the thing. Sometimes we look at our vision from a place of, well, I know this has been true for me up until now. And that usually comes with some limitations. But if we were in this world, which we are, of anything that you want is possible, what would you envision for yourself? And if you think that your vision is big, make it even bigger.
And get in rooms with people that aren't going to shrink your vision. I'm
Oh,
going to stack on that because as a visionary, I protect my visions now. Because if you bring your vision out to people with small minds, and it's a new vision, they will get triggered or tear it down. Maybe not consciously, but it's just when I've got a special vision and a special manifestation, I guard that and I only bring it out when I know someone's going to amplify it and has the ability to see it.
yeah.
Most don't, because most don't have they haven't done the mental work to see beyond what is here right now, right? That's why, this path isn't for everyone.
No, no. And I will also add to this of something that I always say is don't ask trapped people for advice or don't ask people who have never been to where you're going for advice. So advice or even share your vision with. And I also go into the situation being like, okay, I'm having a conversation with somebody and maybe this person has never started a business before or they don't have that desire. How well do you think they will receive and understand my vision? Who knows, right? So it's really important to get yourself, I always say, get it yourself in rooms and spaces and situations with people that expand you, that are living on the side of possibility, that are not individuals that are confined by their limiting beliefs or in what we call victim mode. So I've had this conversation with numerous people of like telling them my vision. And I remember a couple people being like, well, that's like cool, but like, what are you really gonna do? And
Right.
like, I'm like, yeah, no, but this is what I'm really going to do.
There's no plan B.
There's no plan B, right? And then you talk to an entrepreneur, they're like, heck yeah, go for it. Oh my God, that's amazing. They're inspiring because they're living proof that they've done it and they understand those who also hold that vision. So I always say like, yeah, be careful who you share your vision to, but more importantly than that, if you are going to ask people for advice or what they think, also understand where that individual is in their life. Like imagine that I'm going to ask somebody for relationship advice. Like, I'm in this relationship and this person, I don't know, is maybe on their third marriage, right? Like
Yeah.
you also have to understand what has been their personal experience with whatever it is that you're seeking advice for.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I do not ask trapped people, what I call trapped people, for advice or people that haven't been to where I am going.
Absolutely agree. So last question for you. What inspires you? How do you get inspired to take inspired action?
Good question. So for me, what inspires me are, especially within the women that I work with in their businesses, what inspires me is seeing them impact individuals and hearing about the lives that they've transformed, the people that they've worked with. And that I really think of it as like this. For me, the inspiration comes from the impact I create and also the people that I also help them create impact for their people. And it's like this giant ripple effect of impact. And some really cool things have happened along this way. For example, I've worked with a woman and I've connected her to a past client, and now they are working together and they are business partners.
Awesome.
And they're creating this really amazing business. And I start to think about that as like, oh my gosh, how cool is that? That I've changed their lives, they're changing each other's lives, and they have a really big mission, a really big movement that they're creating. And so every person that I work with, we're like planting seeds to create these tidal waves of impact, really, when you think about it. And so that inspires me to really help individuals build a business from their soul that is thriving and successful because they get to create the impact that they're here to create. And because of that, we change the collective consciousness and evolution of our planet. And I always say this is that my vision and your vision is bigger than you.
Absolutely.
It's so much bigger than you. And if you think it's just you, first of all, you're being selfish and you're not doing your vision justice. My vision is so much bigger than me. I know that my vision is here to touch the lives of not just hundreds or thousands, but hundreds of thousands and millions. And it just ripples out into the world. And so all of us here who are listening to this conversation right now, it's like what you are carrying is so much bigger than you. And it's not just for you.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think if you're watching this and you're feeling like, I'm lacking that why, that purpose, that inspiration, sometimes it's not changing the business you're doing, but changing your relationship to it and reminding yourself why. I think the why can also evolve over time, and your why is massive. And I think when you have a big why, you get so inspired just thinking about it and keeping yourself aligned with that because it's so easy to get off course and get focused on things that don't really drive that kind of purpose.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Yeah. And I think that too is like as we evolve year by year, we learn more about ourselves. And that even if our business on the outside doesn't necessarily change, we ourselves change and
yeah.
we feel more into our why of like, oh, I actually see that, this product that I'm selling is not just a product. Like it's actually helping the individual in this way,
Mhm.
you know? And can you reframe where you are in your business right now and ask yourself, what is an even bigger why? If I wasn't to, if I couldn't change the outward structure of my business or how the rest of the world perceives it, what internal shifts can I make to be even more connected to what I'm doing?
Mhm.
Right.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. This has been so valuable. And how can people who are interested in connecting with you get in touch?
So you can get in touch a couple of ways. One of them is Instagram, of course. So you can just go to Stephanie and Swail. Swail on Instagram. Also, the Soul Study. For those of you who are women who are growth orientated, who want like a really supportive space where you're guided by expert coaches and therapists, you can check out the Soul Study on Instagram. You can also go to thesoulstudy.com or stephanieannswail.com. And those are both of my handles on Instagram. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate it. It's been
Appreciate it.
amazing.
It's been amazing. Thank you for this conversation. It's been so cool and an honor to be beside you and just like have this conversation and this kind of casual, cozy talk. But I hope that some of you learned something from it and can walk away and be like, okay, how can I be even more inspired by what I'm here to do? And how can I take action that matches that level of inspiration, action that matches the level and the bigness of your vision? And so I am a big believer in if you feel that call of like, that you're here to experience more, to do more, to be more, then go for it because you have nothing to lose in the process. And who you become through it all is the greatest gift.
Absolutely. That's a perfect place to end.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.